Hello chefs! Today, to complete the series into sort of a menu where we had the salmon mayonnaise with asparagus, we had the rice sort of pancakes, and today we do the main course, which is, as you can see, some pork, which I promised last week, which is pork scallopine in lemon, or lemon pork scallopine. And I got here either a chop on the bone, a steak, or the medallions, which I convert into the very thin kind of scallopine. I just prepare one of those to make a two portion for us today. So I take the one with the bone already off and keep that as a chop for me later on. And then the ingredients is the usual stuff: salt, pepper, oil, but on top of course the lemon, something to dust it with, flour, and the ever-present red onion, cream, and maybe a bit of paprika. But we see this as we go along. So all you need to do is just to get this to that stage there. And what I do is just take a small knife and follow the line of the muscle sort of ligaments. So all I do is just find it, and as you can see I can find it very easy by sticking my finger into it, and all I do is just follow it. Very easy. Just separate the fat from the muscle curvature. But for you that study medicine, perhaps you have a better and Latin name for that little bit of curvature there. And all I do, just make sure that I follow it very close, not to waste anything. That I can keep and use it for stir fry, and continue all the way around. At a certain stage perhaps it's easier to just scrape it off. That is quite tough, that bit, and if I keep it, that will make the steak eventually sort of curl up. And here it is. So I got two sort of what we call now medallions. My pan is already on the heat, and all I have to do, be very careful, very sharp knife, is cut into the thickness. So I gauge the difference between the bottom of the medallions to the thickness I want by lifting the knife the certain amount from the board and keep it at that level, nice and parallel all the time. The two fingers, like we've seen before, to keep the blades from moving about. Open hand, like we did for the chopping, and slicing motion, keeping the distance from the board even all the time. I got two scallopine. This one actually could be used to fill, like open and close, like a cordon bleu. So I repeat: open hand, don't forget the thumb, sticking up, not down, otherwise you slice through it. Same distance all the time from the board, nice sharp knife, and slicing motion. If your knife is sharp, this is very easy. If it's not, you make a mess. So I got four nice scallopine. All I need to do is just season them slightly, ground black pepper, bit of salt, oops, wrong side. And as I got the salt, I put some in here because I'm going to season the flour as well. As for that, I just pile them up so that one side will actually give the flavor to the next one. And that's ready. Put them there, ready for use later, and prepare my seasoned flour. Not too much, just enough to sort of dust them. And then it's personal choice. You can use either ground pepper, you can use the freshly ground. I use a bit of paprika because it's one of my favorite sort of seasoning, just a bit to blush the flour with the salt. Meanwhile, I got my frying pan. I put it on maximum heat for frying, and I put some oil in it. And as you can see, the work of the chef is very much multitasking. That's to try and contain the whole process in the time I got, which is about maximum 15 minutes. So it's very good for very quick individual cooking. So that should come up almost to a smoke point as the seasoned flour here, and I pass each one of the scallopini through the flour, and in they go. Now today I won't be able to do all 4 at once because I'm only one to eat, but later on I do a second batch. So I did 2 at the time being and keep the others ready for either later or the second batch. Got my fingers clean from the flour, and while that is frying I chop my onions, as we should by now be good at. So cut through from the root end towards the flowering end, and then keep the root together. And I repeat, is a finger walk that you slice it but keep it together at the root end, so when you chop it, it doesn't go all over the place. And then through the thickness, and very fine indeed. This should be something that you're fairly good at by now. Look, my frying pan is calling me. And you can hear the frying going now, it's becoming active. Keep the root for the stock with the burns of the chop. You can use the fork in a non-stick pan as long as you don't go on to the actual coating. And all I do is just turn them round. I don't make too much color to this. And I increase the heat to maximum. Great. So as they keep frying, I got my lemon juice ready, the cream, and also I prepared a bit of stock which is in a microwave, just a stock cube which has been put into hot water. Make sure the stock cube is dissolved, so that's either beef or chicken stock, fairly concentrated. There's a whole sort of a cube into about a teacup of water, which I boil together. My two medallions are coming to a nice color. I just want to cook them just to the point where it's almost well done. And then I remove them to a warm place. Could be the oven, or you got a secondary sort of cooker, just put it on minimum, keep it there. And then in I go with the onions. Just fry them nice and quickly to caramelize. So break them up. And what I want to do is to have them just sort of go translucent. To thicken the sauce, I just add a bit of that flour and paprika and salt, so it picks up the fat and becomes a kind of a very rough roux. And then add some of the stock, just to cover the bottom, as you can see, is evaporating already. Then some of the double cream. Use double cream here because the lemon would otherwise split it. And that is cooking together nicely. Return the scallopine to its sauce, so you get the flavor on it. Keep that for service. And last, sorry, turn them around. So it's reducing very, very fast. Sure, I got everything I want there. I add the lemon. You can lemon juice. I prepare lemon juice in bulk and keep it. So make sure it's mixing in very quickly, not to curdle the cream. And you're finished now, so you can sort of go back to just holding, frying, even switch it off. The residue heat will do the rest. And then take out your scallopine. Oops, nearly flying. Put them inside your serving dish or your plate. You can serve this with rice, mashed potato, pasta, or I might do it again with stir fry. And last, I put in the parsley. Parsley is preserved in butter, and all I do is just melt it and mix it in at the same time. Check the flavor. Correct if necessary, tiny bit of salt for me. And tiny bit more consistency, a bit more fluid, a bit of the stock. And just make sure it's hot. So it's a sort of a nice fluid, reddish from the onions and green from the pepper, from the parsley. And all I do is just pour it on top. And that's my scallopine al limone. And the whole thing took about 12 minutes. Please try it. Tell me what you think of it and enjoy it, as I will. Together, to make it even more enjoyable, a nice bottle of chilled white wine. Bye bye.